Thank you, Jennifer, and good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. Hopefully, if this is done right, this will be more interactive than just a talking head, namely mine. As Toronto Police, we try our very best to utilize technology and social media as best as possible to leverage more so that we can try our best to solve crimes, especially serious crimes. And in this case today, we're going to talk about homicide investigations and how we revamped some of our tools so that we can hopefully have an opportunity of solving some of these cases that are not yet solved. First and foremost, let me say that one of the things that we will be doing is we're going to take the time to retool our TPS app to include this on that at a later date. We would encourage members of the public to go onto the website, use social media to spread the word on the individual cases and persons that are wanted for outstanding murders. We have the reach of the world in front of us with this social media. This is a country made of people from all around the corners of the world. This allows us to connect these cases to other parts of the world where the offenders may be hiding. We can use this technology and advance investigations and hold those that are accountable for these offenses. Detective Sergeant Gallant to my right will navigate us through the website and highlight a few of the areas which I'll talk about today. The first section that I'm going to talk about are the unsolved current investigations. Okay, here we go. Okay, this area includes a brief summary of current unsolved investigations dating back the previous 3 years. Each case can be opened and viewed. Connections can be made with the Homicide Squad or Crime Stoppers. Okay, our next section will be the cold case investigations. This area includes a brief summary of unsolved, unresolved cases. We go back to 1959, so there are about 500 cases in this category. Each case is important to us, despite its age. When information about any of these cases surface, investigators review and assess to see if anything can be done to advance the investigation. Homicide investigations have always been, no matter how long ago, given top priority, as there is no greater responsibility than investigating the death of another human being. Top investigators, whether from 1959 or 2009, were given these tasks. The investigations were thorough and complete with information, witnesses, and evidence at the time of the investigation. The things that may have changed over time are advancements of technology, such as DNA, fingerprints, and video, witnesses willing to come forward and provide that key piece of information that they were unwilling to provide at the time of the investigation. The investigation, in order to advance to the stage of arrest or charges, require physical evidence and/or witness testimony in court. This web page is an additional tool that we can use to communicate with the public and seek out information from those who may have what we require to advance a case. Our next section is the homicide arrests most wanted section. Here we go. Most solved homicide investigations result in a quick arrest. From time to time, over the years, the trail of a person wanted for homicide goes stale. Some slip out of the country, move to another province, take up an alias, change appearances. These individuals need to be held accountable for their actions. In all, we have 30 outstanding arrest warrants for homicide cases, the oldest dating back to 1983, which is Dennis Melvin Howe for the murder of 9-year-old Sharon Morningstar Keenan. On the webpage, you can find the photographs and wanted posters for each individual. Feel free to print and post them in your community and share them on social media. Next section is current reward offerings, cold case investigations. Thanks, Stacey. There are a number of cases in which a reward has been offered. The reward poster can be printed and/or shared with others via social media. In 1980, we have Larry Roberts. In 1994, Margaret MacDonald. In 2010, we have Glenn Lowe, Emad Rozek, and Randy Malcolm. And in 2014, we have Wasi Galban. In addition, we have a number of cold cases that we have had DNA, offender's DNA. In each of these cases, the offender does not have a profile in the National DNA Data Bank. All we require to solve these cases is a name. Once we have a name, we can put the rest of the pieces together to build a solid case. There are people out there who know who these offenders are in each of these cases, and all we require from them is to bring that name forward to us. It can be done directly or anonymously. Just have the courage to identify who that person is to us, and we can take over from there. Examples of some of these cases are, in 2003, Cassandra Doe. In 2002, Lynn Teo. In 1994, Margaret MacDonald. In 1973, Donna Stern and Wendy Telford. And also in 1983, Susan Tice and Aaron Gilmore. Each of the coming weeks, we'll be releasing a short video clip and/or wanted posters via social media and news media in hopes of stimulating information or evidence for these cases. I'll now open the floor either to myself or the unit commander, Greg McLean of the Homicide Squad, or Detective Sergeant Stacy Gallant.
Chief, can you just say again exactly how many cold cases you have or how many are listed here?
Over 500. It goes back to 1959, so it goes back quite some time.
And obviously, I mean, is there a way for people to directly get in touch with the investigating officers on the website? Are there links there that they can get in touch with them directly?
Yes, there are opportunities in which you can contact the Toronto Police directly. You can also contact Crime Stoppers 222-TIPS, or you can call the Homicide Squad at 808-7400, and they'll direct you to the right units in which you can provide that information or evidence.
Have you seen models with other police forces around the world where having all this information easily accessible is translating to more solved cold cases?
I can say that I haven't done the research personally, but I can tell you that through the use of advanced technology, and when you look at some of our cases in recent history, with the video imagery, we've been able to capture people, and we've put it out there through the media, and within days, people have turned themselves in with the lawyer. The last case there where 5 people were shot, that was through the video, the quality of the video assisted us as well as information provided by the public. So sometimes it's a matter of rejogging people's memories. We know that with each and every one of these cases, there is somebody that has an understanding or has some sort of knowledge that hasn't come forward, especially the ones where we have DNA. Those are the easy solves. All we need is a name. Once we get the name and we do the comparative, it's an arrest.
And did you say that there's sort of the I want to say easy to solve, but those ones that are flagged as just needing a name, are those separated somewhere within the database? I feel like you might have said that, but I'm not sure.
No, they're not separated, but I will be releasing video clips on those ones in the coming weeks.
Okay.
So this is already up and running today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And when might the information, so that it's not yet searchable through the Toronto Police app, when might it be added there?
Well, it's searchable through the homepage of the Homicide Squad right now, so it is searchable. It's going to be one more layer. Our TPS app, if you go on our home screen, torontopolice.on.ca, there's a link that can tap you through, and you can find the TPS app, which is a very valuable app, by the way. It's for free, and it offers a tremendous amount of information, or you can go into your app store and purchase and get it there.
I know a big component of this is, as you mentioned, sort of reaching out beyond Toronto, even beyond Canada, possibly to try to get some information. How do you get people outside of Toronto or outside of Canada to look to this website, though, and you know, maybe they might know somebody? How do you sort of get those eyes there?
Well, it's always 2 people tell 2 people, and so on and so on. This is an opportunity to, leverage social media. Globalization has made the world a much smaller place. Access to all corners of the world is a much easier thing now, and this is a tool, this is a driver that makes it so much more possible for that reach out all around the world. And so we're hoping that this will be the driver that will assist in solving some of these cases.
How many are in the DNA category, Chief, where you just need a name?
Did we say about 6?
At least 6.
At least 6 cases, yeah.
And are those in that more recent category, or do they go back a period of time?
I went through it, I think, just so that I'm not... we're looking at from 73 right up to 2003. 2003. So 1973, 83, 2003, 94, 2002.
Are you counting on some extent too? I know that the homicide squad and the cold case team will continue to push out certain cases, but are you relying on just blind curiosity of some members of Toronto to kind of pick through these files and say, oh yeah, I remember this case, or I do remember seeing this person now that I think about it?
No, I don't think blind is the appropriate word. You know, as time goes on, people change. People sometimes become more willing to assist. I've had personal experiences where people later on have had a full understanding of what information they have and its importance, and they've called. It's important for the police to make sure that there is an awareness piece. And that awareness piece is what we hope will gravitate to that person at that right moment to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to make that phone call and provide that information. And a lot of times people are scared, and you know, the example with the DNA cases, for example, people might be scared because, you know, gee, maybe my information won't be enough to put this person in jail. I can tell you with the DNA cases, if we get the DNA, that those people will be going to jail. So if it adds more comfort to those people for those particular cases that have that name, we would have the ability of making sure that they are apprehended and brought before the judicial system.
My understanding, this is an updated website. When did you first put up your website for cold? You had something on cold cases already, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, the website had been up for years in the past. It's just we took it down some time ago to, again, retool it, update it more, put more interaction into it with Twitter, Facebook, and various other pictures that we could add on to it. So it's a retooling of the website, and it's a relaunch of it.
Chief, if I could just ask you a question about the budget. It's a big topic today at City Hall. There are some people thinking that perhaps the suggestions of a $25 million cut to the police budget, any fear surrounding that might be overstated in terms of policing. How do you care to respond to those people who might say, you know, the police can live without $25 million in policing in the city?
Well, the math isn't overly complicated. 90% of our budget is salary and benefits. And so if you're asking me to remove $25 million from the budget, you're looking at close to 400 officers. Take a look at the news, take a look at today's climate, and do you think that under this existing model, 400 people less would be a benefit to the city or detriment to the city? When you look at the model that we have, from 2012, when we had 5604, we're now down to 5235. So I'm already down 365. So add another 400 in that and say, look, there will be no impact if we're 700 officers short. I think people need to do some reading and have informed comments, and that way you're not confusing the public as much. I'm looking at this task force to look at how we can be better with our policing, how we can be more efficient, how we can add better value. But just for the sake of making cuts is ludicrous. It has to be done properly. It has to be done through comprehensive research. And those that don't buy into that want a sense of urgency, are ill-informed.
Chief, of that, you mentioned the 90%, and that's something you have no control over. The wages and benefits are from the board. The 10% remaining, what's been the increase over the past several years on that part that the Chief's office does control?
The things that are not affected by the collective agreement, there has been a reduction. There hasn't been an increase. There's been a reduction year after year. We've reduced that. It's safe to say that 10% has been scrutinized for year after year after year. I'm down to my staples and pins and things now. And you know, let's not talk nonsense. If you want serious drastic cuts, then we have to remodel. And the remodel isn't the oversimplification of just saying, you know, 360, 400 police officers have to go. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think the general public thinks that makes sense. But we have to be serious to make sure that the model is what fits Toronto, is effective, and is adequate to make sure that we keep this the best and safest city to live in. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.